I don't know if you've heard of an announcement that was made a little bit earlier this afternoon, but I think we probably ought to start with that. Nico Rosberg calling it a day in Formula One. Lewis, you've had so many great battles with him over the years. Just your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, well, the sport will miss him, but wish him all the best. I mean, I'm sure it's a surprise for many people.
Was it a surprise to you?
I'm probably one of the only people that it was not a surprise, but that's because I've known him for a long, long time. So, but you know, this is motor racing.
This is motor racing. Daniel, what was your reaction when you heard the news?
I had a message saying Nico just retired, and I was like, okay, which Nico? But yeah, I was surprised, sure. You know, I wouldn't say I expected it. But yeah, I can understand it. But sure, it's probably not an easy decision to make. You know, there's pros and cons. Obviously, the pro is, I guess, you go out as a champion, but the con is you probably miss a pretty big payday next year.
Lewis, you've had so many battles with Nico Rosberg over the years, not just in Formula One, but we go back to karting. And will you miss that rivalry?
Well, I mean, this is the first time he's won in 18 years, so hence why it was not a surprise that he decided to stop. But also, he's got a family to focus on, and you know, probably wants to have more children and all those different things. And Formula One takes so much from you, you know, of your time. So, in terms of Mr. Rivalry, of course, because we started out when we were 13, and we'd always talked about being champions, and you know. And then when I joined this team, Nico was there, which was, again, something we spoke about when we were kids. So it's going to definitely be very, very strange. And it will be for sure, it will be sad to not have him in the team next year.
But will you also relish having a new teammate, a new challenge in the other car?
Depends, I guess, who they put alongside me, but it doesn't really matter who you put alongside me. I'll race them, and I'm here to race. Now the focus is obviously on to next year, and hoping for a better season.
Do you expect to have any say in who your teammate will be?
I've never been a driver to ever request that. I know a lot of the other drivers, Sebastian, Fernando, make sure that's in their contract. I've just always asked to have equal rights. So as long as we're treated fairly, then it doesn't really matter who's sitting alongside you. But of course, you know, we've got great team bosses who I'm sure would choose the right people to be representing the brand.
And in the context of the announcement that's just happened, just reassure us, Lewis, your love of Formula One and your love of competing is as strong as ever?
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, I still love racing. I won the last 4 races. It was still a very, very positive year. I owe so much to Mercedes, who got me to Formula One and have enabled me to achieve what I've achieved. So very, very proud to be a part of the brand and the team, and looking forward to continuing. But yeah, who knows? Maybe my end is coming soon.
What I think we call you best of the rest for the second time in 3 years. Do you take pleasure from that, or a little bit of frustration? What are you thinking right now?
Yeah, I don't know. It's it's okay. Obviously, it is what it is. I'm sure happy to be at least that I mean, realistically, the last 3 years, that's sort of the best that any of us other ones could do. Sure, we could steal a few victories here and there, but realistically, to fight for a title, it's obviously been hard to take it away from Lewis and Nico. So I think, yeah, to get it, the 2 out of the 3 is nice. To come back this year with a victory was good. The pole in Monaco was great, and just to sort of get, as a team, I guess, get closer again, you know, to fight for more podiums was satisfying. So but I don't know, like, best of the rest sort of feels like yeah, hopefully I'm not best of the rest forever.
What about, let's talk about that Monaco pole lap. You were 0.3 of a second faster than anyone else that day. Was that your best individual performance? Do you think your best lap of the season?
It was sure it was as good as any other. I think there was some bit like big laps. I think I look back at Barcelona qualifying was another good one. There was a few along the way, but sure, Monaco was, yeah. I mean, I love that place. You know, I think like a few of us, but we always put a lot of emphasis on that race. You know, and we come there knowing that if we're willing to really put it all on the line, there's a chance that we can, you know, maybe get a little bit further. And I knew the car was good. You know, coming into that race, I knew we'd have a chance to get close to pole. So it was just trying to put it all together. And yeah, it was fun for sure. The last sectors where it really came alive. You know, I think the first 2 sectors were clean. I don't think they were spectacular. But the last sector is where it all sort of, I think that's where the difference was, at least at that time. And the tyres and everything on the car held up well. You know, you could push till the end, so that was really fun.
And you had a new teammate this year from Barcelona onwards, Max Verstappen. What kind of challenge did he present?
Well, him coming and winning his first race with the team, that was already interesting. So, you know, it was. I knew before he got to the team, he brought, you know, the youth. You know, was creating a lot of headlines with his age alone. But I knew he was obviously quick. But it was like, okay, how quick? And obviously he proved his speed pretty much straight away. So it was a good challenge. You know, I think he pushed me, I pushed him, and it was just a sort of good rivalry and sort of, how do I say, a good environment to be in, because I think we pushed each other, but we sort of kept it, I think, pretty respectful, and we never really had any altercations. So it was, I think the team was happy. You know, he's obviously quick, young, strong, so we'll see how he increases. Obviously the age is on his side, so it's how much quicker can he get. Hopefully not too much, but yeah, we'll see. It's good fun.
And do you think you're going to have a car next year to challenge this man?
I hope so. Well, there's only one of them now, so that's a bit easier. It'll be interesting to see who takes the other seat. But I
probably should ask. You are locked in at Red Bull, aren't you? There's no chance of you two being teammates next year.
I think they've positioned it today to create something, but no. Yeah, I got a bit more on my contract with Red Bull, so. But I'm confident. You know, I think obviously right now Mercedes have the best car. I would say I'm confident we're at least, you know, the next one's behind them. So we'll see what we can do in the winter and try and close the gap. You know, I'm sure day one testing next year, you know, they'll still be the favourites to be the quickest guys. But I think we can close it up and hopefully enough to, yeah, challenge.
Daniel, you came out quite recently talking about a charity boxing match that you'd like to have against Lewis.
Yeah.
Can we book this one in for the FIA prize giving next year?
We'll see. I guess it was a bit of a, not a joke, I guess, but I saw Lewis had done some, or at least through social media, a bit of boxing training, and I was doing a little bit, and then a few people said to me, well, why don't you try and set up like a charity, because there's these big ones, I know in London, they do these big charity boxing events, and I was like, that could be pretty fun. I was like, I'm sure the teams won't like it, but so I tried to start something, but I don't know. You weren't really interested.
Have you been in the
boxing? Wear headgear.
Have you been in the boxing ring before?
Once. I was scared.
I fancy your chances, actually, Lewis.
I've been in the boxing ring a couple of times when I was younger.
Yeah.
It's not a great place to be.
Yeah, I know. But
and generally, you don't come out looking as good as you go in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe you wear helmets. Is that what we do?
Yeah.
For the boxing
not racing helmets though.
Not racing helmets.
But still, your nose can get pretty crushed.
Yeah, I need. Yeah.
That would be the first thing I take out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you want.
I'll just cover up well.
How do you reflect on the last 12 months?
Yeah, a lot of positives, a lot more highs and lows. I think my biggest low of the year was Monaco, and that was a second place. So I think when I look at it from that point of view, you know, the biggest low was still not really a big low at all. So it's cool, you know, as you said, we come here to be world champions, but you know, I realised I've been in F1 a few years now, and I realised, sure, you obviously want to do it, but it's not going to happen every year. So I think you've got to find the little things along the season which still obviously make you happy, and yeah, the racing I think was fun, but also, you know, tried to sort of tie in more travelling, you know, with the racing. So if there's back-to-back races, maybe spend a bit longer in a city or go to another city in between and just see a bit more of the world and have, I think, sort of make the most of this opportunity we have. And that made it fun. You know, as I said, I did surfing for the first time this year, which doesn't sound like much, but was a bit of a breakthrough for me, and little things like this. So it was a fun year, definitely.
Kind of ironic that we got you two sitting next to each other, because Malaysia, the race, I think lap 40, wasn't it, when your power unit let go, Lewis, and then you go on and win the race. So was that the biggest low for you in Malaysia?
No. Barcelona, Spain was the biggest low, but I think it's cool sitting with Daniel, because I think we probably have more in common than, I feel I have more in common with him than any other driver, past or present. And in the fact that his view on racing, about traveling and experiencing things, that's what I'm all about. So, you know, I'm pretty sure, or hopefully we'll discover some of those things together next year, and as we're traveling, and yeah.
Do some shoeies together.
I'm not,
Come on, you're gonna.
I'm not into the shoeing thing. There's nothing satisfying about get the sweaty, the sweaty juice from between your toes. It's pretty bad, and pouring it and mixing it with a drink and drinking it. I mean,
They're new shoes every race, aren't they? Let's move on. Let's open this one up to the floor. What have we got? Anyone got any questions for either of these two guys? Yes, John Noble.
Lewis, you said you'll happily take on anyone next season in the second cup. Is there a preference for the type of driver you want? Do you want someone who's going to push you to new limits, someone you're easily half a second ahead of? And what about personality-wise? Do you want someone who can work with you to help the team push forward, or someone intense rivalry?
I've never needed a teammate to be able to push me, you know. So, but I always welcome. The better the driver, the better it is for me when I finish ahead of them. So, in terms of you need someone with good values to come in and represent the team and in a positive way. Good work ethic and consistency, obviously, so we can win those Constructors' Championships. Obviously, you got Daniel and Verstappen, who are very, very consistent. So, in terms of challenging for Constructors' titles, which is obviously the team's first goal, we need to make sure we've got someone as equally as consistent as what we've had before.
Yes, where are we going next? Chris, let's start with you.
Lewis, you said you weren't surprised by Nico's decision today, but is there any part of you that's a little bit maybe annoyed that you don't get to try and take that title back off him in the same car next year? Because I think you promised you were going to do that after Sunday's race.
I wouldn't say I was annoyed, no. I mean, of course it is a shame that he won't allow me to take it back, or fight him to take it back, but that was obviously his choice, and I respect his decision. Go out on top while you can. I have a different viewpoint, you know. I've won the championship past 2 years, and I gave an opportunity each year to have another shot at it for someone, and that's just generally how I am, you know. I consistently believe that of my ability and what I can do each year, so even if I was to win again, most likely I would give another opportunity. But I love racing. I love going out there and being challenged by different competitors. And again, we've been racing for 18 years, so it's not the worst scenario for me.
Thank you. Next question, down here, yeah.
Does either of you have a favourite memory of racing Nico?
Probably my favourite memory would be from when we were in karting, because that was just generally a better time, a time where we were, where it was fun, where there was competition but no animosity. No egos involved, generally, and we were just young kids that just wanted to race, and that will always remain with me the best period of time racing alongside Nico.
Daniel, how about you? Favourite memory of racing, Nico Rosberg?
I think it was 3 laps to go in Canada. Passed him for the win. So it's my best memory with Nico.